What it is, great people. The home of motivation. To trust God and live your dreams. What it is, great people, you know who it is. I am Morris Gordon, also known as Mista Darkeye. You are now watching and listening to the Mista Darkeye podcast, New Soul Music Radio, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. And man, we're going to have one of them types of conversations that's going to make you think, hopefully going to put up a mirror. You know, we feel like this conversation is going to make you have a moment where you realize it's something that is you hear all the time, but you don't really take it serious until you really know that, oh snap, I need to tighten up, you know, and really get down to what I need to do, you know, because we go through life, man. Sometimes we just don't be realizing some of the most important things that we need to do. And this is a conversation I'm gonna have with my bro fam, my brother from another mother. In the building, man. You done seen him with me before. He back again. Let me get the claps on it. Indeux Shabazz is in the building. What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, man. Listen, he done came through. We about to chop it up. Hey, before we jumped on, we were trying to figure out, you know, what being transparent, we trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But I told him, man, the Holy Spirit had talked to me about self-care, self-love, man. Self-love really. Love, man, like loving yourself and what that really looks like. You know what I'm saying? And how that affects you directly and everybody else around you, really. You know. So we was talking about that, and I was just sharing with him about how the word says, love your neighbor as yourself. And, you know, when we think about that, I know for me, I always just used to just look at the love your neighbor part. That's it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we realizing that you really can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. You know, and it's like the whole thing about treat others as you how we said it?
Treat others as you want to be treated.
Yeah, treat others as you want to be treated. But, you know, if you ain't treating yourself right, you really ain't gonna be doing right by other people neither. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what we looking at, like what are some of the signs though? You know, like when it comes down to it, what are some of the signs of a person that don't love themselves? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would that look like? What you think?
Yeah, it can come in different ways though, you know, because you know a lot of people, they get in front of you and smile, and everything's all good. You know what I'm saying? You just have to catch people at the right time. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times we don't really share like our deep, like dark things with people. Mm-hmm. We trying to keep that concealed a little bit. So a lot of times you just gotta let people talk. And you just kind of like listen a little bit, and you be like, okay, yeah, something seems a little off there. What's up? So you know, I guess we train to, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good.
Yeah,
you know
say that automatically.
So automatically. We got a lot of things on autopilot. You feel me? So we don't really deep. I mean, you can't every time somebody say, "You sure you okay?" You know, that gets aggravating too. You know? But just you know. Just checking in with people, you can kind of tell when people kind of off a little bit, but like for the most part, like in my personal life, like just self-love, like just not really like showing up, you know what I'm saying, at 100%. Yeah. Like a lot of times just kind of like showing up and kind of being half-hearted there and everything and kind of being evasive and kind of like nonchalant. So with being that way, if somebody expects a certain energy and they're not getting that energy from you, then it's like, okay, what's going on with him? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Everything else might be fine, but then I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm good enough right now. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, with music, sometimes that's a daily fight when people really trying to aim for the top. You got to kind of block out those voices and like, yo, I'm not good enough. With work, performance, or whatever, like I'm not better than. So like a lot of times we doubt ourselves because we might see something somebody else is doing and feel like they're doing it better. Yeah. So basically you saying like how you speak about yourself directly as far as like whether or not you thinking like if you're good enough for something, or if somebody asking you directly like,
hey, what's up? How you doing? You know what I mean? And you can't even really be honest about that. You know, you automatically, like you said, it's on autopilot for us to just say, oh, I'm doing good, everything good. You know, because I know I done been in plenty of situations when you really want to be honest. Like you really want to be, nah, man, I ain't.
Who can you share? Who can you share your deep stuff with though? A lot of times, you know,
share your soul with.
Yeah, like
I feel like it's. I don't know, man. That's tricky though. You know what I'm saying? Because you find yourself feeling like most people don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be in your business. You know, they just want to know how you doing so they can kind of see where you at, so they can compare their life, or they can go back and share your business with somebody else. You know, I mean, like you say, you know, you got to pick and choose. You got to have that discernment on who you feel like, you know, you can really share with, you know.
I mean, with, you know, social clubs, like, you know, like school was one of them, social clubs, churches and work. Anytime you get like cliques and groups of people, like a lot of times they really don't care how you doing. Like
they don't.
So it's, you kind of build this shield up to say, all right, I'm just gonna like, and with men we do it a whole lot more. Where we build these shields and we protect our feelings so tight, because in front of other men we can't really share because we don't want to feel inferior. You know what I'm saying? When we get around women, we don't want to seem like we lesser than in front of other guys. So it's a lot of shielding and faking the funk just to kind of like get along, to play along with everything. But at the end of the day, at some point it's gonna hit you. You gotta face yourself and be like, all right, I'm not really good. You know what I'm saying? I need to do something about this. You know what I'm saying?
So this is something that affects how you really feel about yourself. Then when you feel like you're actually going through some things and you can't even find somebody or a group of individuals or whatever support group to really share, open up with. So you start, you know, feeling certain ways about yourself because of this. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't even really got nobody to even talk to. So that means nobody. I can't get no love from nowhere. Right. So it's like now this is a direct reflection on what you see yourself as being. Like, you know, are you worth, you know, like somebody loving you and caring about you? So you figure, why should I love and care about myself then if nobody else is?
Right. Yeah. So it's like two scenarios. I know. Yeah. I was talking to one of my homeboys just recently about it. Like having somebody that kind of knows you for real, you can kind of share everything with, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't have that person, like whether it's a therapist, you know what I'm saying, or somebody that they can kind of share stuff with and not feel judged, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your friend might pop jokes at you and everything, but in their heart of hearts, they know that like, all right, man, like,
you boys gonna be clowning you.
Yeah, but they know you for real, and some things you might share with one, you might not share with the other. So it's that type of situation, and then we got to create more safe spaces to be able to share. Yeah. So like, it's men's group. You got a men's group. Yeah. I'm a part of a couple other communities that got groups where we share things, and you know, it's not so much for us to share just to get the, you know, to open it up for people to know, but it's to share because like maybe somebody else is dealing with the same thing. And I think one of what I found in my life is being transparent is open up other people to be transparent. And that's why I do it. Like I did it in music. I do it like in conversation, sometimes oversharing, but I do it because it's a level of me that doesn't care about the backlash from it when I know it's coming from a pure place, right? So when you're transparent to the point where like I'm gonna lay it out, it's therapeutic for me too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And what you do with the information, it's kind of like, it's up to you, but I'm free enough. I done put it out there. So it's like, it don't matter.
Yeah, I think I overshare too. Like I get to talking, and next thing you know, it's just all coming out. Like, you know, there's this thing, you know, between us men and women that they try to tell us like we shouldn't, you know, expose and share too much with our women. You know what I'm saying?
Pillow talking.
Yeah, you know.
Chatty patty.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I was watching that, you know, it's clips that still go around of Kevin Samuels.
The honorable.
Yeah.
I'm getting in trouble for that. The honorable Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, Kevin Samuels, right. It's still clips go around about him. And I seen a clip one time, he said, men should not cry in front of women. And he was like, don't complain. Don't cry to no woman. He was like, you going through something, you better go talk to a tree.
He did.
Yeah, he was like, cause she gonna be effing your best friend by the weekend or something. I'm like, bro, that's not true, man.
So the thing about,
I don't believe it is.
It's not. So this is crazy dynamic with the male and female podcasters these days, because everybody seems to know what everybody thinks from the opposite sex, right? But with Kevin Samuel saying that, it kind of made it seem like, okay, you don't have a safe space with your woman,
right?
Which would defeat the purpose of her being to help me if that's your wife, right?
Exactly.
So if you live by, to be biblical about some stance, like the stances that we live by, if you're a Christian with a believer, right? If you're gonna live by these standards, then you got to look at things a totally different way, because they're not gonna make sense to the average person. They're not gonna make sense to people because they're not for them. So as a believer, you can't get caught up in a lot of what people saying. Like, you can, like, you know, I would say, like, people say eat the meat and spit out the bones, but you got to be careful these days. But anyway, like, right. So you got to take stuff. You got to take stuff a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. And when they say it, you can understand, like, okay, you don't want to be vulnerable in front of your woman. But who?
Right. Who else you gonna be vulnerable with? Yeah.
Because it's another woman you gonna be vulnerable in front of.
Somebody.
So it's like you gotta be careful with listening to certain people when they trying to drive these narratives of what a man is supposed to be and what he's supposed to look like.
Right.
You have one man pumping, like, you gotta make $300,000 and you gotta be able to take care of everything, and that might be true for certain people, but then you have another woman that's willing to meet you right here, and y'all build something together, right?
Right.
And it doesn't take away from what everybody else is doing, because I think it's subjective amongst the people that's involved in the relationship. Mm-hmm. We got too many relationship goals attached to other people's success picture, but not their journey. Mm-hmm. Like, we get caught up in the picture of success and we miss the journey. Mm-hmm. The journey means they wasn't where they are right now. They started taking pictures once they got there, right? So, You gotta be careful, like, following the new wave of people just trying to say whatever and try and make us feel inferior for not being a certain man or being lesser than if we were open up. Because,
well, you really can't listen to everything you hear on the internet, of course, you know. And then, you know, like Kevin Samuels, he had his points of view. Some of the stuff he would say, I understand, but then it was some stuff or whatever that he was just wilding about. To be honest with you, he was wilding. But you can't really listen to somebody or whatever, if I'm not mistaken, that doesn't appear or isn't or wasn't in a solid biblical relationship himself. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't really take advice from a man that doesn't have that for himself. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of folks on the internet that's sharing advice about relationships that's not doing well in that space themselves. But some may argue the fact that because they're not doing well in it and they made mistakes and learn from the mistakes, they may be able to share some wisdom with you, which that's true too.
Yeah, because
but
everybody's not like saying that every professional is a successful professional is not. That's, you know, you still, like, you got a LeBron James, but then you might have another player that didn't go as far as LeBron. Might have played in the league for 2 or 3 years, but he knows the game. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he's coaching now, or he's a mentor, or he's a scout. Like, so you can't automatically just discount people that don't or not involved. But you got to be careful the levels that they go to get their points across.
Facts. And, you know, and like I said, all of this stuff comes back down to how you view it. It makes you view yourself a certain way when people be giving, you know, these you know, this stuff, advice and stuff, whatever they be saying, when they be giving you this stuff online, and it makes you view yourself a certain way. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it affects, you know, the self-care, self-love that we talked about. And I feel like your decision making is directly affected by, you know, how you view yourself and your self-care and your self-love. Because when you don't really care about yourself or don't really love yourself, you're going to make some bad decisions about your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you really don't care. You know, when it comes to that, especially when it comes down to relationships or just you know, how you treat just anybody in your life in general. You got children, you know, your family members, you know, and ultimately yourself. Because if you ain't taking care of yourself, everybody else around you is not going to be. They're not going to be, you know, a priority for you to take care of neither. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we was talking about this earlier off air. Like I was talking about, like there was someone that gave an opinion about, you know, a man should not put his woman first, you know, because that puts her in directly in harm's way when life happens, you know, and even with, you know, people saying that your woman should be by your side, she's still not protected. So it's like ultimately she always should be behind her man, you know, and that goes back to the saying that people, you know, when people say behind every great man is a great woman, you know, and she's behind him, you know, she got his back, you know, she is you know, back there to be that voice and that guide and that help, you know what I'm saying, you know, to help him, you know, to go the right way and be directed in life the way he's supposed to be. Because I'm thinking about something now that came to my mind. I want to say it was what was the old girl name? Fantasia. Fantasia gave a great analogy about this. She was on a podcast. She was like, the man is the head, and then the woman is the neck. And you know what I'm saying? She the neck that's holding him up, and then she's the one that's helping him be able to maneuver and do the things that he need to do. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I thought that was dope, you know. So ultimately, it's like the man, you know, you got to be able to you got to be able to take care of yourself, you know, and make sure you good. So when life happens, when life come your way, it ain't gonna go through you so easily to the point where it's gonna affect her as she's standing behind you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't got thick skin and you ain't strong enough to be able to protect and provide for her when life happens, you gonna be all over the place and unstable, and then ultimately that's gonna affect her too. So it's like you really ain't protecting her, even if you are in front of her, but you ain't taking care of yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think if people get it misconstrued a little bit when it comes to like the get behind me type thing, because they think it's like you lesser than type. But it's
a lot of women think like that.
Yeah, and it's it could be because a lot of men make them feel that way. You know what I'm saying? They not that equal. They less than. Get back behind me, like so then it becomes more of a disrespectful way of looking at it versus that we're a team still.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a LeBron, it's a Jordan, it's a Kobe, it's a Shaq. It's a person that leads the team and is known without a shadow of a doubt who runs the team. The issue comes in when the leader of the team, supposed leader, isn't really leading the team. So now he's more of a role player. He's a role player in the leader position. So there's a lot of men that are role players in leader positions. That's an issue. Mm-hmm. That's when it becomes an issue. So when things happen, you respond like a role player. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to take the last shot. You dribble the ball out and the time runs out. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing? Like, so it's like you're not being you're not your follow through isn't there. Like you're whatever you say you're gonna do, you're not coming up with. So it's those things that happen in a lot of relationships or whatever too. So you have to determine if I'm a lead, and I'm a really get out here and try and figure it out. You might not get it right all the time. You might miss a couple shots trying to do it, but you're willing to take the shot. Mm-hmm. You can't be the guy that's just passive all the time.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have discipline. You gotta have boundaries, and I think that's one of the things that the right woman is going to notice about a man in those types of situations or whatever. Because another sign to me that you don't really have self-love, you don't really love yourself, is that you're a people pleaser. You know what I'm saying? You trying to do whatever it is that you feel like is right. And I know I went through that. I went through that big time, man. Like, sometimes you ain't comfortable with saying no, and you just kind of just going with whatever all the time, you know, and you got to have some boundaries and some things like that and be willing to say no, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't do that, then it's like, okay, now she feels like I could just really walk all over him.
So, conversation I get in trouble with my baby all the time. Because I say it's a lot of, like, it's not that nice guys finish last. It's like you got to find that balance of when you got to, you know, put your foot down and not care what happens after you put your foot down.
But why they say that though? Why they say nice guys finish last?
Because they do. They do.
Do we?
My baby gonna get me. They do. Yeah. No, but women love kind guys. They love nice guys.
Do they really though?
They do. However,
it just takes them longer to realize that's what they want.
Nah, you gotta be. It's a balance. A lot of times. So I've been watching Family Matters recently.
Yeah, that's my show. Yeah,
and I was kind of like looking at how Steve was kind of moving, and Laura could just like he just kept on and if she winked at him, she'd be like, ooh, she winked. He would react. He would overreact, overplay himself to everything she did, everything she moved. If he asked her to do something, if she asked him to do something, he'd do it no problem. He would always look out for her. He was always protective. He was always there.
Man, okay, but let me say this. Let me say this about that situation though. You know, this is what really is the problem with that situation. Now, Laura should have never got Steve. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, she did not deserve that man. She did not deserve him. She did not deserve him. Because really deep down inside, when it all comes down to it, like it's been said, and I agree, they say, be with the one that wants you, not the one you want. You feel me? That's what they say now. Yeah. Be with the one that wants you, not the one you want. So Myra, she loved that man from his cheese eating to his high water pants to them plaid shirts to his goofy laugh to his clumsiness. She loved everything about that man. Yeah. And it's like he was but the one thing I say about Steve, he was honest and let her know, I'm with you. But and for as long as I'm with you until Laura say she ready and then I'm gone.
See, that's the thing.
But that's the thing. I'm just saying. Ultimately, I'm saying Laura should have never got Steve because she ain't deserve that man.
Steve didn't have self-love.
He didn't. He didn't.
Because like so he would do so much and he would try so hard. And it became aggravating. It became kind of like, okay, that's enough. Like, okay, I know you like me. Okay, cool. But it becomes overzealous. So like, when you in a situation where,
so you doing too much. That's what you're saying?
Like when you in a situation where like, yes, you want to be able to do everything they ask. You know what I'm saying? That's my lady. I want to take care of her and do certain things. But you don't want to be. It's the how. It's the balance. Like sometimes you might say, "Hey, we gonna do this." Maybe just take charge in how we gonna do things, but not to the point where if she doesn't agree with you, you be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Sometimes you might not like red, and you just don't like red. Don't put that red shirt on. I don't want you to wear that red shirt.
Right.
And just make the decision. My issue. I used to be on the fence a whole lot more. So being on the fence, I'm giving too much room for her to have to make a decision when she's entrusting me to make certain decisions. So that's another thing. So when you so nice, a lot of times you're gonna let them lead. Well, if they wanted to lead, they wouldn't look for no leader. You feel me?
Right.
Like why am I looking for a leader if I'm still gonna make all the decisions?
So I see what you're saying because I did that. I did that. And that does come from the fact that you don't really love yourself because you are looking for love from them that you are not giving yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you doing all this extra stuff to try to have some kind of security and reassurance that they ain't going nowhere.
Right.
But really ultimately that's what's pushing them away when you doing too much and it's pushing them away. Because I went through that. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like my relationship now is, it was like that. Like, okay. So before I even met Shaka, it was like boom, like I had this whole thing about like, God, I'm putting you first. That's it. It's what it is. So if when the right woman come along, she's gonna show me what she sees in me, the value that she sees in me. I'm gonna know from that and how it all comes together that you sent her. So after I put that out there, I left it alone and I'm chilling. So it's like, in the Bible, God brought the woman to Adam. And I looked at all of my other situations, it didn't go like that. I was on the hunt. You feel me? So it's kind of like when you try to take control and try to do X, Y, Z, you just know it ain't gonna go right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let go and let God for real, you know. And that's a real thing too. Surrendering to God, like that's a real thing. That's a whole nother thing.
No, that's a good point though. So like with the whole leading thing, like you gotta like really lead in the right order. So that's the other thing. Giving them something to follow is important, but what are you following?
Who are you following?
If you have no foundation and you just kind of all over the place, then today we're going to Mexico, but tomorrow we're going to Texas. Yeah. And then we're going to New York the day after that. But it's not planned out. You just jumping because you're not really like structured because you don't have a foundation.
Right. So. But let me go back though, because I was saying about doing too much. So what I found was that was what I was doing and not realizing what it was doing to her. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's like you can get to a point where like not even realizing that all the stuff you doing today, they not used to that. Or they ain't never experienced it. Right. So it's an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like for an example, I come from a family where we always tell each other we love each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like my mama tell me that, my pops tell me that, you know, my brothers and my sisters, you know what I'm saying, sisters tell me that. Like we just, you know what I'm saying, we do that all the time. You know, you look at through our text messages, you see that, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that was something new for Shaka. So it was like, she in her mind, she like, who you trying to convince? Like, but I'm like, that's where I come from.
Right.
So it's not I'm trying to convince anything, you know what I'm saying? But I get it though, because most people be like, don't tell me you love me, show me you love me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everybody's, you know, perspective on that be different and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I get that, I understand that, you know, but when you ain't really got true self-love and you are, you know, approaching your relationship that way or whatever, you could take what you know and then it like 10x it. It'd be doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing your partner, they ain't used to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you like I said, you thinking what you're doing is drawing y'all closer, but it's really pushing them away.
Yeah, because it well, you know how a lot of times they say like bad guys like girls like, but they like the.
No, it's bad boys. So it's a difference. See, they like the bad boys. Oh, I used to say that all the time. I'd be like, man, how y'all be going out here looking for the bad boys, but then you turn around and say you want a good man, like bad boys versus a good man.
It's but see, there's a double standard because we like ratchet sometimes.
Baddies, whatever you call
ratchet.
them.
Like we like look. So like the pictures you like,
but you don't want to. You want. But that's not wifey though.
But it's the same thing. It's
that's
like,
a toy.
So you. So you say you like all these pictures. You like all these pictures of certain people. You know what I'm saying? But then you have a nun. And you say
a nun?
Yeah, I'm saying you want a nun.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But you liking, you know.
Well, no, we don't want, because you ain't gonna get none with a nun. They don't.
I mean, I'm saying you want.
They don't get down like
you
that.
Want to present. You want a decent person to present, like when you stepping out. But then you so like with the females that like bad guys. Yeah, I like somebody with a little roughness around them, right?
lady in the street, but a freak in the bed. That's what we talking about.
It's the same, because it's the same thing. So like, so when you say, yo, why y'all chase all these bad? They say the same thing. Why you say you want a nice, but you chasing the easy girls or something like that, right? So it's like, it's kind of like a double standard with that. I do feel like, like with the bad guys per se, bad boys, it's more so, it's the, can they do both? It's still a balance. Like,
can they be both?
Can they be both? Can you be a little edgy, but still I can take you to a 5-star restaurant and you don't pick up the wrong fork or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I can take you around certain people and you can talk with some sense and you ain't just like, get the fill it me on.
Filling me on. Filling me on.
Filling me, like you ain't can you go places, and so that's some of it. Like we want to like box people in a little bit to either one or the other, but really it's that balance. So that same balance works in the relationship of like your leadership skills. Like, yeah, the bad boy, it was easy. He seen the girl, he just said, hey, I like steak, and that's it.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I ain't gonna never offer him nothing other than steak, because she knew what he wanted. He came, but then you ask her, hey, what you want to eat? You want to go here? You want to go here? You want to go here? And she said she want to go somewhere you don't even like the food, but you gonna go just because you want to please her. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, it's a little give and take, but who are you? What do you like? What do you like? So let's build a relationship off of who we really are first.
Yeah.
Versus who I'm trying to like gas. Yeah.
So that, I mean, okay, so that really does come back to self-care, self-love when those situations happen. I think like to want, okay, so like for women to want to, like, so for the women out here that be wanting or think they like bad boys, right? Or whatever, that's a sign that they don't love themselves, because like I said, because they choosing less than what they deserve, you know, and they think that that's what they want. Same thing.
What's the definition of bad?
Bad, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Yeah, like with renting out. But no, okay. The I think the bad boy is the dude that ultimately it's like he really don't have, you know, good morals and, you know, really solid values in life. He really don't care about that. Like he's the one that's not really taking care of himself like that. So therefore, he ain't really, you know, invested in a relationship like that. So he ain't really making her a priority. And in most cases, I'm gonna say this: most cases, it ain't just women neither, it's men too. But most cases, we find ourselves more attracted to people that really ain't really into you like that. You trying to make them be something that they not, and that's what women find themselves doing with bad boys. They trying to make him into this good man. They trying to turn a bad boy into a good man. And I know some of my Christian folks out there, whatever, my believers not there, you know what I'm saying? They gonna like what I'm about to say. They're gonna say, I'm gonna say this. Women try to turn bad boys into a good man, and men sometimes try to turn hoes into housewives. So that's what happens, but you can't do that. They are who they are. So it's one of those things where it's like, stop trying to go into a situation to change someone when, if you trust God to provide in the relational area the way you supposed to, then you're going to end up with the one you're supposed to be with without having to try to do things to change them. Try to turn a bad boy into a good man and try to turn a garden tool into a housewife.
I mean,
I said it the right way.
I said it right way. So I'm trying to clean it up. Well, thank you for trying to clean it up.
I know they probably no, he didn't say. No, he didn't say that.
You have to edit that one out.
Nah, I ain't gonna. It is what it is, man.
No, but
I'm
see,
just saying.
So, cause okay, now based on your upbringing or who you've been around, you may be jaded to think a certain type of way, right? So I had to learn too that there are a lot of people that kind of came up and they don't think or dealt with some of the things that I may have or seen, right? So, I used to feel that women like to be disrespected in a way, right? So
they wear it as a badge of honor, really. Yeah. They like to be the victim thing.
Not even the victim. I'm talking about that. Like, so even in a relationship where if it's too good, if it's too clean, then it's boring. You know what I'm saying? So then I said,
they get bored.
So then it's like, I need some insight. So then it's like, well, when things go awry, then it's like, okay, I'm cool. So then that's very toxic, right? That's very, so that goes into the self-love part of it. When you don't know who you are for real, you don't know who you are, then it becomes like you accept anything. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful with that.
You do. That's why I said making decisions when you don't really love yourself is dangerous. Cause like anything that you got that you don't really care about like that, you it's gonna sit there. It's like think about something in your house right now that you don't really care about. It's sitting there and then collected dust. You don't even know if it still works. You know what I'm saying? Because you just walk by it every day and you don't pay no attention to it or whatever, you know. It's like a plant. Yeah. Some people go out here and get plants and they don't water the plant. They don't do nothing. They just sit up there and they be kidding and they say, I don't know, every time I get a plant it die because you don't take care of it. You don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really come down to when you love something, when you care about it, you take care of it. That's just pretty much, that's the gist of it. Like if you love it, you take care of it. So you think about yourself. If you love yourself, you gonna take care of yourself. You're gonna go to the gym, you're gonna eat right, you're gonna watch the company you keep, people you're around, you're gonna pick to be with the right person, you know what I'm saying, as far as relationships is concerned. You know, it was something that was said that I heard a quote, and I will always take this with me for the rest of my life. Everything is about having the right why. The right why. And it was a quote that said, if your why don't make you cry, then the price of commitment gonna be too high. So, you know what I mean? Like that just hit home for me, because I'm like, a lot of times when we hesitate and we won't commit to something as far as like taking care of yourself and self-love, it's because you don't have the right why. Right. So it's like if somebody said, if you don't take care of yourself, I mean, if you don't do this, you're gonna die in, you know, like in 10 days. So if you know, like, you know, if your life depended on it, right, you would do everything you need to do to take care of yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the truth be told, that's the reality of it. Your life really do depend on it. So it's like, if you look at it from that perspective, like it's a life or death type of situation. If you really see it as that, you know what I'm saying, then you're going to take care of yourself. The Bible says that the mind of the flesh is death. You know what I'm saying? And the mind of the spirit is life and peace. So it's like, if you could get to a point where you got the mind of the spirit to love on yourself, take care of yourself, that's life and his peace. And Jesus said he came to give life and for us to have it more abundantly. So it's like, if you ain't got peace, then you definitely ain't got life. Because God ain't gonna give you something abundantly if there's not peace attached to it. You feel me? So definitely, man, it's like, I think we need to just look at it from that perspective, man, and see the importance of how much it means to love ourselves, because we definitely know it's a direct reflection on how we not only just feel about ourselves, but our loved ones too. Because I done had family members who was on drugs and all this stuff, and we was trying to get them off of them drugs, and they stayed on them. And it's like, and then now they're not with us no more. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's like, if you're not willing to take care of yourself so you can stick around just a little bit longer for your family members and for the people that love you, like that says a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For real. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Oh, you looking at the time? Yeah. I was wondering. Well. I told him we got about 39 minutes, and we down to about where we at? Oh yeah. But check it, man.
Well. Better than 17.
It looked like we got like a few more minutes, but at the end of the day, I think we hit on a lot of different things, man. You know, and I hope that this is something that open y'all eyes up about self-love, self-care, and the importance of not only how it's a direct, you know, directly affecting you, but everybody around you. You know what I'm saying? From your children to your significant other, to your family members, your parents, siblings, nieces, nephews, whoever. You know, so for everybody else that love you, it's like, you know, we got to take care of ourselves, not just for us, but for them too. You know what I'm saying? Especially for those of us, you know, like I don't got no children, but Deuce got children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got. Well, I guess to some degree. I mean, you know, I guess I do. God done gave me an instant family to some degree. So I guess, you know, maybe.
Yeah, you can't use that no more. Yeah, you can't use it.
I can't really do that no more or whatever. Yeah. Especially when it come down to the baby of the family. She been saying since day one I was gonna be her new daddy. I don't know where that came from, but she been saying that since day one. So I guess she spoke it into existence. Maybe I was an answer to her prayer. But anyway, it's like you gotta be able to take care of yourself, especially for those little people that's around you, and you know, because we gotta be there for them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, love your neighbor as you love yourself, but you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself, man. That's pretty much it. Anything else? Last remarks? Why we got like a few seconds?
Oh yeah, we got yeah. Now, so basically, like that whole thing is for the family, like just like you be no good to nobody. Like you say, you're no good to anybody when you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, as far as like getting help, seeking help, sharing, expressing. I think a lot of times, like I say with men, we just like suppress everything. So being able to have like open groups and community that you can talk to and be real with is super important. Yep. And it's like the only way that's really gonna like allow you to kind of like move forward, because man, it's funny that we hide so much of what we really go through on a day to day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we be trying to thug it out with ourselves. So
yeah.
So you just gotta take care of yourself.
Gotta take care of yourself, fellas. Gotta take care of yourself. So that's what we gonna end on that note, man. Make sure you stay up on your self-love, self-care, go to the gym, eat right, and definitely stay in that word, man. Stay in that word, because that thing right there definitely gonna be your guide, your instructions to self-care and self-love for sure. You know what I mean? So, man, appreciate you dudes coming through, man, having this dope conversation with me, bro. Hey, y'all know what y'all need to do every time you need that motivation. Make sure you tune in to the Mista Darkeye podcast right here on New Soul Music Radio, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. Until next time, salute, much love, we out. Hey. What it is, great people. The home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams.